Welcome, learner. It's Mr. Dingo. Today coming with another different chapter. That's what we are calling elements. And I want us to understand what element is. Previously we talked about matter, but we did not understand deeply the specific things that make matter. Matter is made up of very many things. Today we want to know the names of those things that make matter. And as you can see, the board here have listed some 20 elements, what we call elements. So these 20 elements, they are the things that make matter. They could be a mixture or they could be individual. And there are not only 20 elements. Today, there are a total of 118 confirmed elements. I said 118 confirmed elements. These elements, we define them as pure substances that cannot be split into smaller units by any chemical reaction or any chemical means. So, because the number is very large, 118 elements, we are not going to discuss all the 118, but we are going to take a sample of 20 that is going to guide us to be able to understand the rest of the elements that we will not actually get a chance to discuss. In your exams, you are going to meet other elements that are outside these first 20 elements. And if you look at these first 20 elements, we are actually given them order. The number 1, number 2, number 3, up to number 20. These numbers mean something, and that is going to be understood in the next lesson. So if you look at these elements here, I have the names, and then I have what I call the symbols. So the names of the elements are here, and the symbols are here. The names, these names are given in Latin language. The names of elements are given in Latin language because Latin is a language that is very widely spoken. And again, Latin is a very stable language because it is not prone to changes. So we look at these elements. I've said they are named in Latin, but as I speak, I'm using English language. So we can also say that these names are also borrowed by English, except there are two names here that we have to look at: sodium and potassium. These two names are different in a way if you try to compare. This one here, the symbol is Na, potassium, the symbol is K. Why? Because the symbol of sodium is from the Latin name, which is natrium. Natrium. So the Na that we are using here is coming from natrium, not actually sodium, because sodium is actually English name. But the other names, if you look at number 1, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, carbon, nitrogen, all those ones, look at their symbols, it's like English language borrowed from Latin. So the names are shared in both languages. But when it comes to sodium and potassium, the English have their own specific names, and then the Latin names are also there. But the symbols have to come from Latin. English, the Latin name for potassium is kalium, and that's where K is coming from. So you must always know that these names must be in Latin. In case the symbols are named after cities or towns or countries or people, the name should be made to sound like Latin. In other words, we say it should be Latinized. The name should be Latinized. It may not be Latin, but it should be Latinized. So viewer, these are the first 20 elements, and one of the things we are supposed to also obey or look at very carefully, just like in mathematics we have symbols, numbers to represent Greek symbols, here we have symbols in terms of letters. The letter can be one letter, where it should be capital if it is one letter, or two letters. And if it is two letters, the first letter must be capital, the second letter must be a lowercase, or what we normally call a small letter. Second to that, if you make a mistake of, for example, writing CO, cobalt, that's the correct symbol for cobalt. C, capital C, small o. If you make a mistake by writing C, capital O, then you make a mistake because this is now not cobalt but carbon monoxide or carbon 2 oxide. So it's very important, learner, that you pay attention to the lesson of today because the way you write these symbols matter a lot. You must be able, if the letter, the element has two letters, the first letter must be clearly capital, the second letter must be small. I've said Latin is used because it is stable and also it is widely used. And the elements today, there are 118 conformed elements. And I started by defining what an element is, and I said an element is a substance, a pure substance that cannot be split into smaller units by any chemical means. Thank you, learner, and welcome next time.